one Facebook post, a few replies in the comments, and suddenly Claressa Shields found herself in the middle of another internet firestorm. What started as a message defending Papoose quickly turned into a heated back and forth that had fans screenshotting every response. People began asking one major question: why was Claressa responding so personally? And how does she know so much about Papoose's DMs? Today, we're breaking down the viral Facebook exchange, the comments that sparked the biggest reactions, and why social media says this controversy only made the debate even bigger. Welcome back to Tea with Sienna, where the tea is always hot, the receipts stay ready, and we never sugarcoat a thing. If you love celebrity drama, hip-hop news, and trending entertainment stories, make sure to subscribe. Now, let's get into today's story. In my opinion, moments like this come across as reactions made in the heat of the moment rather than carefully thought out decisions. And that's a pattern some critics believe keeps repeating. After the Aruba trip, Claressa Shields appeared relaxed, confident, and unbothered. But with another fight approaching, some observers feel her energy seems different. While she's smiling in public and staying focused on training camp, critics say they aren't convinced everything is as effortless as it appears. Some even believe she enjoys the travel, public appearances, social media attention, and spending time with Papoose just as much as boxing itself. That's led a few commentators to speculate that if financial considerations weren't part of the equation, her priorities might look very different. Of course, that's their interpretation rather than an established fact. That's simply the impression some people have taken away from everything they've seen. With that said, let's get into the Facebook comments, because people definitely weren't holding back. Whether you agree with their opinions or not, the reactions were impossible to ignore. But before we look at those responses, here's what Claressa Shields reposted. This is the post that sparked the entire discussion. The original message criticized women who repeatedly approach another woman's partner just to talk about his relationship, questioning why anyone would think that behavior comes across as normal instead of appearing jealous or overly invested. The original post went on to say that people who behave that way aren't worth a response because their actions speak for themselves. Claressa Shields then reposted it with her own caption, writing, "Messing with my man Papoose is diabolical. That's why we block y'all." Just disgusting. That single comment immediately set off a wave of reactions. Some online users questioned how Claressa would know what messages Papoose receives, wondering whether he's sharing those conversations with her or whether she has access to his accounts. Others even repeated long-running social media claims that she has responded from his page in the past. Those allegations remain unverified, but they quickly became part of the discussion surrounding her post. Some critics argue that if those long-running claims were true, it could explain why Claressa Shields seems so aware of what's happening in Papoose's inbox, even while she's focused on training camp. They speculate that she may simply be paying close attention to his online activity, although there's no verified evidence of that. Another point critics have raised is what they see as a contradiction. They note that Papoose has previously said Claressa reached out to him first, so they question why she's now criticizing women for messaging someone else's partner. Whether that comparison is fair or not, it's one of the main reasons her post generated so much debate. To those critics, it reinforces the impression that the relationship has become the center of the conversation. And that's the perspective many have been sharing online. From the critics' perspective, no relationship is worth sacrificing your peace of mind, especially when the situation remains complicated and highly public. They point out that Papoose is still legally married and still has a tattoo associated with Remy Ma, arguing those are details that continue to shape public perception. To them, the situation feels more unfortunate than entertaining. The discussion intensified when one supporter commented, "Claressa, I defend you when you're right, but you probably should have skipped this post because these comments are about to go crazy." Rather than taking the advice, Claressa Shields responded, "I'll blaze you down to the ground. Go away, lunch lady." That reply quickly became one of the most talked about moments in the entire exchange. Some critics questioned Claressa Shields' response, arguing that phrases like "I'll blaze you down to the ground" came across as more emotional than productive, especially in an online exchange with someone she may never meet. In their view, comments like that don't strengthen an argument and instead make the conversation appear more heated than necessary. The discussion continued when another user replied, "Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun." Claressa responded, "Maybe I should have spelled it out. What gun are you talking about? Y'all are losers." That exchange quickly became another widely shared moment, with people offering very different opinions about how the conversation unfolded. That back and forth only kept the discussion alive. In my opinion, responding to so many comments made it seem like the situation was affecting Claressa Shields more than she wanted people to believe. While she presented herself as unbothered, some critics felt her replies suggested otherwise. They argue she may have been better off ignoring the comments altogether, since reposting the message only invited more criticism. To those observers, repeatedly referring to Papoose in that context gave critics additional material to discuss. Whether that's a fair assessment or not, many believe conversations involving Papoose tend to generate her strongest reactions and often end up overshadowing everything else. Some critics argue that exchanges like these end up drawing more attention to Claressa Shields' reactions than to her accomplishments in the ring. They also felt the meaning behind the "rabbit got the gun" comment was widely understood, which is why Claressa's response, questioning it, became another talking point online. The discussion continued when another user simply wrote, "Fair game, babes." Claressa replied, "Y'all are inboxing him, begging him to get back with his ex. Y'all are losers." That response quickly fueled even more speculation, with some observers arguing it revealed more about how personally she was taking the criticism than she may have intended. That reply led some critics to speculate that Claressa Shields may have firsthand knowledge of the messages being sent to Papoose. Some believe it's unlikely that Papoose would update her about every direct message he receives, leading them to wonder whether she has access to one of his social media accounts, often assuming Instagram because it's the platform where he's most active. There is no public evidence to confirm that, but it's one of the theories circulating online. Those observers argue that with Claressa focused on training camp, monitoring his social media could explain why she appears so aware of what's happening in his inbox. Some critics believe that with Claressa Shields focused on training camp and spending less time with Papoose, her online responses suggest she's paying close attention to what's happening on social media. in their view, that points to questions of trust. They argue that if someone feels completely secure in a relationship, outside messages and online rumors are less likely to become a major concern. Those critics also note that training camp is typically associated with minimizing distractions and staying focused on the upcoming fight. That's why some have questioned whether engaging with online debates fits that approach. That's today's tea. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Claressa Shields should have ignored the Facebook comments, or was she right to defend herself and Papoose? And what do you make of all the speculation surrounding Papoose's DMs and the relationship timeline? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because I read every single one. If you enjoyed today's breakdown, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Tea with Sienna, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest celebrity tea. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.